OMG, this game, less important for OMG because they're already really doing well for themselves. Ultra Prime, they've only got the 2 series wins. They've had some, they've had themselves a bit of a downswing, but their last series looked a little bit better. And if they seal this win out today, they keep themselves very much in the race for top 4.
That they do, and we are looking at some very specific bans here, of course. OMG are banning away, or having banned away from them rather, specifically Tianjin's Vi and his Rengar. He's gotten that champion a couple times because people think it can't be that bad, can it? And the answer was yes. Yes, it can. Do not give him that champion. Hack will have the Zyra banned away from him regardless of nerfs. I still think the champion is just fine, even if it's not as crazy as it once was.
Rumble's gone through unbanned at all, which is one thing. Now, the thing is, we have Leona, we have Braum. So if you go for the Ashe, then PB has to make the answer to the question, do you pick up the Leona potentially getting banned by the Braum, or do you take away something like the Braum yourself? We've seen also the Tristana also just not be picked up here either. That would have been such an easy first pick on the previous patch. So at least these teams have said, okay, let's give up that priority. The Tristana, Corki are gone. They do lock in that Leona. For me, that's the go button for the Braum for Niket. So now if you go for, say, Braum and Lilia or an AP jungler, I think they're really set.
Yeah, they're feeling pretty happy. I feel like OMG aren't unhappy with their first 2 choices either. Angel and Lucian should be a big tick point for them, as Angel has really been stepping back up to the form that we were seeing earlier in the year, and the Lucian is certainly able to do that, even if we've seen people like Rookie perhaps not able to convert yesterday. Angel, I think, has looked very good on that champion. There's that Braum you were calling out. It is locked in. We'll see whether it will be the Lilia that you were musing about alongside it. I think that would make some sense. It's a very good combo with all the CC already in there.
You might also want to just lock in something like the Zeri, though. Something which can lane well into the Lucian. I think that's what you're aiming for later into the draft. Something which Hacker can really contribute magic damage to the team fights in. You're probably looking at a Zeri or something like that for Yuka if they want to lock in. It is the Lilia, so which means you are going to lose some of those lane matchups into the Lucian. Should have trusted my first instinct, I should have. But now, OMG, they're maybe looking at their own magic damage.
And Leona and Ziggs is a very common enough pairing, even if we've seen a little bit more of the Ezreal again recently. We know how strong this combo can be. Leona sets him up, Ziggs knocks him down. It is pretty solid work. It would make sense as a lock-in, even if they do flex it over. I think it's a good consideration, and no longer a consideration in actuality.
So that's going to be one of your big parts of a combo. Leona goes in, the Ziggs ult goes over the top of it. Braum can't block the bomb because it's not a projectile. OMG, they have them... What?
Now I was going to make a dumb joke about projectiles.
You could do it then. Now is the time.
Now is the time. I was like, what does it count as then? Was mostly what I was going to ask.
A bomb.
A bomb. So bombs are not projectiles.
It comes straight from ahead, and sadly he holds out his door to the side, so it doesn't really block things going overhead. He should have formed a testudo formation. Yeah, really should have. What other Romans What other Romans ever done for us? Well, they taught us the testudo. Well, apart from that.
Yeah. Does it work in a zigzag? Did they really teach you anything useful?
Well, that's the thing, you know, you're so used to fighting in Gaul that you forget about the Hextech Yordles. You know, it's a simple mistake. We're now getting into a second round of bans, and so the Jace is buffed. That's being taken away. Harry has been a player of that in the past. He's also been a big cannon player too. We have seen that get through a number of times for him. OMG banning away some of the AD mid laners. Yone, one of the champions which wasn't really hitting that mid lane pool in terms of AD matchups.
For sure. The Zeri's still up and available, though. I wonder whether Starry just locks it in here for bot lane instead. But actually, they've already got the Ziggs in, so I'm talking a load of interesting substances. So we'll see what they decide to go towards here. I feel that will be a relatively easy lock-in for Doggo when that comes around to their pick. They've got a top laner, jungler to think about. They know they're into the Lilia. Brand is still up and available. Obviously has been one of the harder hit nerfs, so might not be a viable option here.
Is Rumble really just gone? Is he really just gone to the point where you can't blind pick him at this point? Maybe it is the point where you can't blind pick him anymore. I know that Rumble was at the point where, you know, in the previous patches, there was no good answer to him. We just moved on to patch 14.14, so that has changed a lot of things. We have ourselves now a big engage combo coming in from OMG with the Sejuani Leona. That's a huge amount of engage pressure coming through from OMG. Ultra Prime will have to find themselves. You can't play that. You can't play that, Ultra Prime. I'd like to see it, but we can't play that right now. Ultra Prime looking for an AD mid laner and then also a top lane to blind pick into Harry.
Decide towards the Corki was still up and available. Can be something Urukai can be okay with. It's something of a self-counter pick into the Lucian, but it's still a playable matchup, even if you can lose some of the early trades there, depending on summoner setups and good dodges from the Lucian.
Yeah, Lucian tends to win out on this matchup. You can win as the core keeper, Lucian does tend to have the leg over it, and that reflects in the win rates here. I think Lucian's like 13 and 10 versus core key, so it's not a hard counter, but it helps a little bit. Na's going to get locked in, and now Harry has to answer himself. Okay, what he can play into that. You can go maybe another tank front line and go towards that Cassante. We've really gotten to the point where Rumble is like only being hovered as a last pick. That I know the Q was nerfed, but surely the nerfs aren't that bad to take him completely out of that top lane meta. Hovering over some other picks instead, the Leona Sejuani with a gold card would be a hell of a combo. It is locked in, and suddenly now Ultra Prime. Anyone who gets gold card is probably getting removed by a bomb. OMG have a hell of a combo. Ultra Prime, they do have really good initial pick themselves with the Ashe Braum and the Lilia, but I feel like their combo is harder to play around because they don't have a gold card for one, and also it does feel like that Sejuani adds an extra degree of ease of access for OMG. Angel also on a good lane, Harry also on a good lane, so I think OMG walk away. The solo lanes that have got a lot of pressure in the early game, and also an easier to play combination. So Ultra Prime, I don't think this is necessarily an easy draft to play compared to OMG. It's still not that bad. I think that OMG, though, looking into this game as the overdog, as the team coming in with more wins, looking like a better team, with an easier to play combo, should be confident heading into game one.
Yeah, Leona lands her CC and everyone else can follow up. Similarly, if the Sejuani starts off the combo, it's very easy to follow up on that single target CC. I will say for the side of Ultra Prime, though, they've got very good zone control, and if they do start landing some of their slightly more incidental CC, the Braum slows, the Lilia slows, the Lilting Lullaby start coming on through, and suddenly your AoE teamfight is pretty terrifying. Your extended damage is still pretty terrifying. It's not like they can't play the game, it just has a few more caveats to it in terms of how to execute. We'll see whether Ultra Prime are up to the challenge.
So, first draft of the new patch, 14-14 here in LPL. Our first time experiencing it. Suddenly, no Rumble, no Tristana. Corki's still there, Lucian's still there, but it has been a fairly big change. Just one draft in. We'll see if that sticks with it in this all-important game.
The champions have changed, the teams have not. We'll have to see who exactly is coming out on top here. You heard it from Nymaera. He rates the ease of access from the side of OMG. The Rift will decide the rest. Level 1 start off here, but it's all warded out, so not too much to look at here as stood on a ward. Our Ultra Prime, of course, they do have the Braum, who is arguably the best level 1 champion in the game, honestly. He's so busted.
Yeah, I think the only thing... Look, across the average of level 1s, Braum is the best. I think that the best possible level 1 is probably the fully charged Scion Q. That one
really silly, I agree.
Walking into a Scion at level 1 is not great. Anyway, so we do see that they're looking for potentially level 1 shenanigans. They cleared out that first ward. They might get spotted by a second one. Starry could get some poke, and indeed they will. So that's going to be one skill shot landed. They get themselves a ward into the enemy jungle, though, which means that they will see that Tianjin is starting on that bot side. He's not got a sweeper up, and he'll be spotted starting on bot side and heading towards the top side, which makes a lot of sense. I don't think the hacker can necessarily force into bot side as well, in terms of he will be clearing from top to bot, but he won't necessarily be looking for that much more after that.
No, it doesn't feel like that's likely. Of course, you will have that gold card set up topside if you really want to force onto that, and getting the TF ahead early can be very oppressive.
Oh, for Hacker.
Sorry, yeah, for Hacker, I'm saying for the side of TNT here, that's fair. Hacker, in some ways, probably just there to look towards that bot lane and see whether you can get some wards down. I know you've got more priority down there, potentially early on, with the obnoxiousness of Braum into the Leona, and the fact that Ashe can throw out volleys and just have those ranged autos, really annoying to manage. We
have seen occasionally Doggo and Niket have some wobbles in laning phase, so the fact that starting off well with a duo that kind of needs to do well in lane as well is good for them. We'll keep tracking that as Niket blocks. That's great. That is great. Niket just body blocked the bomb to make sure that the first rank Ziggs Q cooldown couldn't get that wave clear.
No.
Means that they might not lose the XP, but they lose some wards there. Your first rank cooldown of a Ziggs bomb is actually quite long. I actually quite like that from Niket. That'll probably get skipped over by some, but he's hit every single Q. He's blocking off some of those minions. Good laning phase from him so far.
I think he also denied level 2 there as well. I'm not quite sure whether that was the break point, but I think he might have denied level 2, so they're still stuck there. Big chunked out, finally hit it now, but that bomb being denied really hurts them in terms of where they are in the lane.
So now, OMG, they've used their early wards, and you can see it's a huge crash in. They do get themselves level 2, but they've taken some decent damage. They have some pots left, so it's not going to be the end of things. This could be quite a risky dive, but they do only have the one combat summoner in that ignite. They don't have a heal or a barrier or something like that, because of course Starry's running that teleport. Just use the satchel too.
Yeah.
Long cooldown, they have one cooldown left for him.
Right, Niket takes the initial aggro. PP God Chug low, goes down as the watch out Pete claims him. Niket low but not down. Hacker takes another turret shot. Do they want Starry as well? He's in danger. Shield comes up. Braum takes the aggro. Sorry, I make that doggo. And they just about get the last auto. Goes down, comes at the cost of Hacker's life, but they do kill off the Ziggs.
Yeah, the second dive is a little worse. Hacker does go down, but he does walk away with 2 kills. And what that does mean, so this does not bother Hacker that much at all, because he still gets his Fated Ashes on his first recall, and he gets himself that Ruby Crystal. If you're going back to base without that Fated Ashes, then this would have been failed from Hacker. Opposite side of the map, Tianjin looking towards Qingtian.
That Tricks Club just bought for the Ash, but you're absolutely right, this dive is happening is Qingtian flashes away, stays alive. Qingtian has to flash, but the card still comes on through. Turret shot, not quite enough.
It had cooled down at that point. It hadn't ramped up because it switched back onto the minions, so Harry doesn't get the full damage from the tower. Qingtian almost outplays the dive, but first kill goes over towards Harry. Now, in recent times, Qingtian has done a lot better from behind the game and being on weak side, but he has been exposed before against matchups like that Twisted Fate that can just snowball the lane very heavily. So, Angel going to get a little bit of a visit from the cat. Let's just have a think about the implications of everything that's happened in this early game now, because we do have even gold between Ashe and Ziggs, but having Hacker ahead is the bonus of the bot side, weirdly. Problem now is that Starry will be able to kind of wave the kind of for forever if they allow him to. Wave's kind of pushing out.
No teleport.
He might have gone too far here, yeah.
No flash, no teleport. I think it's the start of the engine's coming on down, but it might be too little too late. We'll finally get a bit of a CC down to Hacker, who's in danger, but they do get that Blooming Blows kill. Hacker gets the watch out, eat down, but it's not enough to keep alive. The Braum passive is ticking onto Tianjin, but nothing more. Maybe look to step on forwards, but it's 2 tanks into a Braum. I don't know whether they're going to do this. They're still going to keep going on forwards. They have enough damage for now. Shield comes up. PP got in danger. Galactic Assault forwards will not get a passive proc until just now. Doggo trying to get the additional trades onto Tianjin, but double red buffs was enough.
Double red buffs was enough, and I think that Doggo ended up attacking the wave instead of the champions for a bit there. So I think Doggo ended up throwing the cat under the bus a little bit by not turning the damage round. It can be hard to damage them early enough, but OMG, you can see that the movement of their jungler, Tianjin, has been pretty effective in this early game, just making sure he's at the play early enough, and OMG walked away with an extra kill. The gold has been quite even, and folks, it's not even been 6 minutes, we've had 7 kills. Welcome to the LPL. Another kill goes over to Hacker, 3 for 3 so far. And, on the other side now, Starry has missed out on a decent amount of XP, if not that gold. Qingtian might get himself a visit from his own teammates now once.
Yeah, might do. Has the gold card coming on up, but who's he going to be able to stun up here? Because if he uses it on the cat, he'll allow Hacker to start stepping on forwards. There's the flash away, and Harry will stay alive, but will be forced to back away from this one. But now PP God can maybe look towards the mid lane, and a dive onto Uakai. Will Valkyrie away, flash under the tier 2, but there's a culling coming on through, and he's just dead to rights.
Angel with his first kill of the game, and OMG, they have relied on him to do a lot of carrying. Both of these supports, both these junglers, all over the map. It's been really fun to watch both of these jungle support duos really try and make a break out of the gates very, very early on. I'm struggling to think who's really gotten ahead in terms of all the strategic objectives. You can see that, of course, the TF is expected to be ahead. I think bot lane being even is a real win for OMG, given the fact that the Ziggs can now wave clear very effectively. They're trying to head towards Harry with no summoners, so Tianjin is here. Yes, they do have the Braum for the lockup, and the Ashe has rotated up, but I don't think they can force anything. So Tianjin, once again, doing a good job of covering his lanes. I think that this player that came in for Xiaofeng, not really expected in that sense. Coming in, doing a great job for OMG.
Yeah, and again, he's another one of those LDL players I had on my radar alongside Milky Way from that jungle pool already. Yeah, this guy's got it. And had a rough old time when he first came up to the LPL. Wasn't in the easiest circumstances, but a brief stint back down the LDL, now coming back up again, has looked pretty solid here, all things said and done. The fact he's been able to draw target bans in the Rengar, having turned up on it, playing the Sejuani, a very different style of champion, and being very heads up, at least in this early game. It might not lead to a win, but so far so good from the new blood in the jungle.
Yeah, so Ultra Prime, kind of now on the negative end of that, with Tianjin has now done a really good job in this early game. He's a 1-0 and 2. Hacker, yes, a lot of gold, but he needs to now use that investment. They've really been pushing Doggo and Niket up towards this top side. And what this has done is protected Qingtian from his individual matchup versus Twisted Fate. He's now obviously 1,000 gold up, and that's Twisted Fate for you with the passive and the attention he's been given into his lane. Dog and the Cat still on top side. It's bought them those 3 grubs. I wonder how long they're going to stick here, though. There are diminishing returns for putting this up towards there, and I think that, you know, the Ashbourne does really want to be ahead. They are barely, if that. They're going to try it again. They have level 6 on the Lilia. There is an Ignite on PP God, though.
PP God eats a Brawn passive. Could still be in danger here. Trying to get a bit more. The arrow afterwards. Finally, PP God steps on forwards, but it's not until anyone who's taken aggro. Hacker taken low, but they'll get on out of there, and they do get the dive off.
Yeah, I wonder whether they could have procced the Brawn passive and then kind of flashed out with Doggo to make that easier, but they end up committing the Ash Arrow and the Ignite from the Cat. It ends up working out. Yukai still no flash. He does have at least wards this time. He's keeping even enough in gold, which is important because we'll see about that. And the Cat does end up missing that passive. Harry, of course, still no flash. Pops that ghost as it comes off of cooldown, and he's going to lose himself a cannon and a turret.
Harry looking for the gold card, lands it onto Niket, but the Winter's Bite comes on through. He's forced to burn another summoner. This TF has actually been pretty well punished here, honestly.
Yeah, we'll need to see how Qingtian kind of works with that matchup on the other side. This has been a great early game. I've been watching. It's really very dynamic, and you can see the mind games at place where you can see the jungle supports are trying to cover lanes. Ultra Prime trying to make sure that Ashe is going to get that early wave push. They're now recalling again now. We'll see what that lane assignment will be. I'd imagine they'll flip things over again, which is a little surprising to me because I thought that, yeah, so they're not flipping it over. They're just resetting at the same time. I was wondering if they were doing that recall at the same time just so they could switch the maps around, but grubs are up in a minute. You really want that Ash Braum on the top side of the map. Again, you're going to have the Ash Arrow for the grub play. If you can then get 6 grubs for yourself, so every time that Nod does get those rare opportunities against the Twisted Fate to hit a turret, it means a lot more. So again, you can see this map movement evolving and trying to see how the win conditions are coming out for both teams. I think if Ultra Prime get those 6 grubs, they're very happy.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. And it's awesome that the TF hasn't really been able to hit tower. And on the other side, the Ziggs has been playing defensively. He's got, what, 1 plate bot side, if that. So in some ways as well, you're really mitigating what could have been some really nasty lanes in terms of turret plate discrepancies that Ultra Prime would otherwise have to have dealt with.
Yukai's going to get himself his recall just before the grubs come in as well. Angel's going to do the same. We're squaring up for a grub confrontation. Might not necessarily be as much of that. Starry's on the top side of the map too. He also has teleport if he wants to stick around for a wave and get himself to the first item potentially after that point. Dogger doesn't quite have the shiv yet. Qingtian's running out of Mega. Nah, might be able to get a good trade here.
Does get a solid chunk. Gets a big one into the wall as well. Remember, Hurry, no flash and no ghost could well get run down here. He needs to get that gold card locked now, and old Qingtian just flashes against the boomerang.
Ultra Prime's first winner of a Player of the Week award for 2 years, walks away with a solo kill, and an important time. He can teleport back into the play. Qingtian, best top laner of the last week, makes a difference, and now suddenly that means that Harry can't control Qingtian in that side lane. Ultra Prime walk away with 6 grubs off of this, and OMG, Harry, you got to do better there. You had no summons. The Stars now just got hit.
Oh, and there's going to be on the wrong side of the satchel. Has to flash on out from it. Can't use it to escape. And they get another summoner.
How much of a glow-up has Qingtian had from arguably the worst top player in the LPL, who'd fall behind 4,000-5,000 gold behind commonly in games, to now suddenly making plays like this, which give Ultra Prime advantages. He's had a hell of a glow-up. Now, the rest of the team will need to match that. The rest of the team will need to see that through in this game. They have the 6 grubs. That is a big, it's a big advantage for them. And OMG, of course, have plenty of tools to fight back in this game. It's very even in terms of the gold still, but that is still going to be an important moment. Qingtian kind of just buying his team the 6 grubs there.
A long, long way from a man who would pick Darius and then lose in what was supposed to be a counter matchup. That is the kind of play you're asking for, and having been in a bit of a tricky position early on, finds a solid combo.
So, Mega Nara is not always the most powerful form to fight in, but it is the most bursty form to fight in. Hits all of his abilities, hits 2 Qs on target, and then you get the mini Gnar as the AD carry comes through with the last boomerang. Fantastic play from Qingtian, and Harry massively disrespecting how much damage that Gnar could do.
Yeah, didn't have the flash up, didn't have the ghost available, and that's the price of having your summoners burned on the TF. You are, without them, a lot more vulnerable, especially if you're not the one keeping people on low HP totals. And it's taken out there, and Harry, suddenly that gold lead that was 1,000 odd gold really isn't there anymore on the TF.
Yeah, now he's going to get to the point where the TF can't necessarily bully him around in the lane in the same way. Tianjin does have 6. We could potentially see ourselves a big play. Someone, of course, Harry has his ult too. And look what just happened with Harry coming out of base. He was just hovering towards bot side. You can do what's called like a diagonal reset or something to the same kind of effect as that, where effectively you come out of base and you don't walk directly towards your lane. You walk towards the side of the map that you might think there might be a fight on, especially with TF with ultimate, and then you go back to your lane after that point, especially if you got a little bit of time before the wave hits the tower. He was just trying to see if there was going to be a play coming in from Tianjin, and OMG, they were positioning to give themselves the best opportunity to look towards a fight. Now with the 6 grubs, Ultra Prime still sticking on strong side here. Starry's hovering towards bot side in case they want a big combo to come through. 6 grubs might just take down this tab free.
Yeah, Doggo's even gone shiv for even more shove on this Ashe as well. It's not necessarily the build we see as often on the Ashe at the minute.
We've seen it more recently, because we were seeing Kraken Phantom Dancer.
Yeah, that's the one I had in my brain.
Because Phantom Dancer gives you 12% move speed, Shiv gives you 7%, Kraken gives you 7%. So you still get move speed on this build, but it's not quite the same amount. It just allows you to shove and roam and be that much more impactful, kind of clearing out waves and getting to the play a little quicker. Because of that, Doggo continually, relentlessly pushing in. 6 grubs, first turret.
Also, when you're into a TF and a Ziggs with teleport, having the additional shove power, I completely get. Makes so much sense to me. So they get that first turret, they turn over towards the dragon, they want to fight this, but so honestly to OMG, they're in the river and can make some things happen as Tianjin throws out the ultimate hacker, jumped on, trying to get away, just about out to safety. For now, the Mega Inferno Bomb claims the kill though. Health bars desperately low on OMG though, as the CC begins to land, they are being put on ice. What is that Zenith Blade? Doggo goes down in the backline. Qingtian is in a 1v3 as a Meganar. Can't kill off the Sejuani. Is being run down by Harry. Urukai on full HP. Everyone has to back away as a bloodbath has occurred.
Yeah, Hacker, I think, really overestimated his own tankiness. This is the problem with the Lilia before you get the Zonyas. You can get kind of soloed out, and Hacker, I think, realizing he's just not as tanky as you would like to. OMG are going to get themselves a good amount of kills off this, and they're going to get themselves the dragon. Because Ultra Prime also committed so many people to the play, they don't get a cross map. Qingtian goes right into the backline. He tries to get on top of Starry, but I don't think he quite realizes that no help is coming because Ultra Prime have lost a couple of members on the backside of that fight too. We'll go through to this again. Niket and Hacker, they're trying to get themselves a Brawn passive on target, but as soon as this minefield hits, I think Hacker's got to be so careful. Staying up within flash Q range is a huge mistake from Hacker. You can't do that, not at this kind of point in the game. It leaves it into kind of like a split fight. Doggo's on very low HP. This is a mistake too from Doggo, who auto-attacks a ward once and then flashes and dies to his Zenith Blade anyway. Doggo, really quite poor fight from him. Because Hacker and Doggo have poor fights, it means the diving from Qingtian is also quite disconnected.
Qingtian does kill off Angel and nearly gets Tianjin in a 1v4, so I'll give him credit. Going 1-for-1 in that scenario could have made things a lot worse if he hadn't pulled it off, and all the while, they lose the dragon, but it's still only a 2-for-3. It's not the end of the world. Doggo, I think, is going to be a bit aggrieved that PP God landed that last Zenith Blade to bring him down.
But then the thing is that you see the skill shot, you flash late, get hit by it anyway, and it follows you. If you get tagged by it, it will follow you beyond your flash in a certain timing. So Doggo, he has the most gold in the game. We have seen this from Doggo before. He has occasionally had those incredible pop-off games. The last series he had on the Zeri was fantastic. But we have also seen him get a lot of gold and then miss position in team fights on this stuff like the Callista and on the Ashe, where he's kind of taken that investment and not really returned it very well for his team. He needs to do that here. Most gold in the game, has a lot of damage. OMG do have a great combo to kill him later on, though. This is your time to be really, really strong. Sadly, now without those summoners available, it's harder for him to have those same kind of fights. Ultra Prime, they are using those 6 scrubs to clean up this side lane out of turrets. Qingtian is on weak side, though, and it means that Harry maybe gets himself a turret hit.
Yeah, Niket is down here as well. Now with the Braum around as well and Meganar coming up, I think that dive is being judiciously avoided.
So, back into bit more of a calm map play. 3 minutes until the objectives are up on either side of the map. You can see that. Whereas before, it was kind of like Ultra Prime losing a lot of the individual matchups. It's now OMG who are suffering that fate themselves now. You can see that Hacker, he's about to get himself up to some important items too. I think as soon as Hacker gets himself to Seekers, I think this game gets a lot easier. One of the big things you can do against Leona is you can press your Zhonya's within the Zenith Blade because you are rooted, you are not stunned. So if you do see PP God trying to not lead with the ultimate onto Hacker, there is a chance that he can press that Seekers, and that will maybe allow Hacker, with so many kills from that early game, to finally get onto the board. He's not had a clean fight so far. OMG have been settling debts with him quite early into the fights, so he's going to have to show that he can also have better fights as the player who has been the MVP for Ultra Prime in this split so far.
Yeah, he's been pretty difficult to manage, as Qingtian once again having Tianzhen just come down here and see whether there's an opportunity to be found, but unlikely to get that in. It's just a ward control mission right now. Harry surely be able to finally claim this outer turret, as Qingtian did need to pull away from the turret under threat of a dive. All the while, though, there's a big old shove happening topside.
And also what's been happening is, because Tianzhen has been hovering around bot lane outer turret to allow Harry to take it, Hackers has gone into the topside enemy jungle and taken away the Krogs too. He has himself almost a 1.5 individual gold lead at 1,000 even. 1.5 gold, that'll be a lot. But 1.5 thousand, that's
minimal.
That's minimal, you know. 1.5, that's where it's at.
Yeah, because it's a mystery in there. You don't know how, 1.5 what, you know?
Yeah. It's like 1.5, what is it? Like how much is it? Well, you know, in terms of money, not much. In terms of people, quite a lot. Why would you have half a person?
Don't ask.
God.
You said you had a lot of bodies in this room yesterday.
That's true. You have them too. Sam,
Sam,
have you been putting your bodies in my room?
Yes, I have.
I can't believe you do. So inconsiderate. Anyway, Hacker is going to be really, really strong. Somehow.
You're dead.
Are we back to Monty Python?
Of course we are. Never leaves.
For those of you that missed it yesterday, we went a bit off the rails, folks. Yeah, that was a thing. So, go watch that. Qingtian going to be on weak side, bot side once again. Hacker once again going into the enemy jungle. And I think Harry might have overextended. If that swell seed had hit, that might have led to something from Yukai. Herald is still yet to be summoned by Ultra Prime. I think that they're happy holding this... And they're happy holding this as threat because it means that OMG have to be very respectful. Until they drop it, they don't know where it's going, because it could go into top lane or it could go into mid lane. Now it's been summoned, so that'll come through. They don't have the Ziggs to finish this off themselves. See that Tianzhen is coming to hover mid again. Don't expect a heavy force out of this. The charge should come into mid, and that should be it. I don't want to see Ultra Prime overstay for this one, because OMG could look for it, and then it's played like that.
Yeah, what it does mean is that against the Ziggs, they've still got shove in mid lane, and if they do overforce for this dragon, it would be soul point, so understandably so, they will likely lose mid tier 1 for it.
Yeah, Yukai's going to get himself a recall. We'll see whether he gets himself to Muramana. It is Manamune. He doesn't have the full evolution right now. You can see that because the Ziggs has been kept in mid lane, it's harder to get that zone control. But you can see already how much damage he's doing with the 2-item spike. He is going to do damage. If he tags those stray skill shots, Starry will be very much up in the DPS numbers. They put him under that mid lane turret again, and they take the river control. But there's every chance they get engaged on.
Missed the Glacial Prison there. Hacker, watch out, eats away. The slow is solid, but the Glacial Fissure afterwards buys so much time. Niket might go down, but the turnaround is monstrous. That lilting lullaby gets everybody. They're all put into the long sleep of death. Tianzhen will try and get Hacker, but goes down himself. The minefield just short of getting Hacker.
Niket has the best Braum combo possible to him, where everyone throws everything into the shield, he gets his passive turnaround, and he saves his teammates. Braum dies a happy support in that one, because he's the only one that goes down as OMG look for their big engage. It's going to be a dragon. Harry's going to come through. He might just die for this, though, going on to Hacker.
Takes a lot of damage back, flashes away, and the last order comes on through as Yukai trying to get onto Star, who's in danger. Boomerang goes and claims an extra auto to allow Yukai to claim that kill too. Huge fight for Ultra Prime.
Ultra Prime. Where has this team been for all of the rest of Rumble stage? Doggo might have just got caught out, though. Niket is here. There is a flash. This is teleport from who? It's Angel.
Bow passive comes on down, and I think he's falling. Loses his wings in the mid-tier 1.
Yeah, call him Lucifer. That's a fallen Angel at this point. 1, 3, and 2. The mid laner for OMG, who has so typically been their best player, throws another kill to Ultra Prime, and now it might have even opened up a Baron angle. They're teleporting in. There is no Angel. Starry has teleport. Harry is coming up too, but they're not here right now. This might be a Baron start.
Harry has no Destiny Gate and no teleport, of course, because he's the TF. They're not going to be here. It'll be a 3v5. They're going to try and teleport in to make something happen, as there was an interrupt on it. Big Megador into the wall, onto the Sejuani, trying to keep them all alive, but PP God finds himself more flaccid in this game than he was hoping for, as Doggo gets away just about alive. But now Harry is here. Maybe with the Wildcard Cords could cause some trouble. Tianzhen survives somehow, some way. Baron stays alive.
So, Ultra Prime, they don't get themselves the Baron, but the last phase of play is why I was excited for this team in the first part of groups. It has been painfully rare to see this level of form from them, but between the last series that they played and this one now in this game, I'm really hoping that maybe it's Doin being in the background helping coach this team, but this team has managed to find themselves a couple of great games back to back. Niket, this frontline performance, fantastic. Shuts off the angle to get onto Hacker. Hacker gets out, and look at this. Ult into the choke point, puts up the shield. Everyone throwing stuff into him, and he's buying time. Buys a flash out of Leona too. Niket dies a happy man in that one. That is the support frontline performance you love to see out of a Braum. He dies, but the rest of the team cleans up the fight. That's what they wanted out of this. The team was coordinated, they were there on the right time, and for once, Ultra Prime set up the objective well.
They do, and you just can't ask for better. And also for Niket, who we've been saying, look, this guy maybe not having the easiest time in the last few weeks. Gets a performance off like that, and Harry looking for a bit of a desperation moment, and Yukai finds Starry trying to come on over as well to support his top laner. It's insult to injury.
So, now we have significant lead coming through from Ultra Prime. Now there's an arrow flying. Ow, where's that going? It's going to Angel, but he will regain his ruffled feathers on this one and fly his way out to safety. Tianjin into his own jungle. Can Ultra Prime keep forcing the plays though? So they're ahead in terms of gold. They don't have themselves a soul point. They do have good map control as it stands, and they have the 6. That is a ballsy recall there. You guy, come on, that was
bold, yeah.
Yeah, but now he has himself that QSS, and that changes quite a lot for him as a champion. You can see that Niket obviously going towards that Warmog's not going to do the BLG on and build the Mikhails on the Nautilus or something like that. To help out his teammates from something like a Leona Stunner or Gold Card. The thing is, Ultra Prime, this was the part of the game where it was easiest for them to accelerate. Now the question is, Baron's up, Dragon's up, but you don't have easy side lanes to control as well because the outer ring of turrets have gone down. You're not going to get infinite value out of them. What do you do now? What's the next play to accelerate the game? Ash arrows are good, but you need to make sure that they're flying over Fog of War, not enemy vision, because it makes it much harder to hit them. And OMG could potentially try and stall and look for a big turnaround with the Ziggs of the Run.
Yeah, they could still be a tricky position to be in. 5,000 gold down. They've not got soul point because of course that dragon fight went so very wrong, and the double AD carries being this far ahead gets very, very difficult. Honestly, the Lilia as well is becoming increasingly annoying as that third part of the threat team. Tianjin steps on forwards. Maybe they found a moment. There's 2 people isolated. Massive combo. Niket's going to go down as well. And Ultra Prime stepping forwards to get vision, just get collapsed on with every member.
And this is why we were saying they could just get stalled out. Qingtian doesn't have his Mega. He's probably going to go down before he gets that one. Ultra Prime lose 3, and they might end up losing the Baron off of this. This was the problem. The easy part to accelerate had happened, and now suddenly it's just Yukai and Doggo. They have an arrow, but realistically, they're not going to get anything off of that. OMG pounce and Ultra Prime. They should have known this was coming. That was a risky push forward into the jungle.
I mean, I just don't understand what happened there. They go forwards, and Lilia still had the Zhonya's, decides not to use it either, but...
Well, he might not have been able to. We'll see. Might not have been able to. If he got hit by the stuns, he could have got perma CC'd. Has those smoke treads, and suddenly OMG, they get themselves that Baron, they get themselves probably a side lane turret here as well. Ultra Prime, this is a wake-up call. You can't just do what you did earlier in the game. Much harder to accelerate when you have to go into the enemy jungle against the Ziggs combo. We'll start this again and just see what happened in this replay. I'm going to imagine there's Tianjin getting himself an ult. That's one ult. That's a solar flare. Yeah, he couldn't use this on because that's why he didn't choose not to use it. He just didn't. He had the choice.
Just get CC'd down.
He had the choice taken away from him, and that's really not where you want to be as the Lilia. If the Lilia gets caught like that, you can't turn around with your own ultimate. The damage wasn't there. Picture in picture, we got another fight.
Yeah, and of course there will be a dragon that's spawned, and they really want the soul point, so be an option here. But Ultra Prime here, as Niket's the one that gets hit by the combo. Survive and has the Warmog.
Yeah, he has the Warmog, so that's not very high value at all. Niket still has his ultimate to come back up. That can definitely come through. Now OMG don't have themselves the Sejuani and the Ziggs ultimate. They have the Baron buff, and it's gotten themselves some rewards right now, but they won't be able to use it very easily to get this dragon. They haven't chosen the cross map, so it does look like OMG are now down a lot of tools to fight with.
Slow starting coming through from the ships and everything else. That's proving pretty tricky. The Glacial Fissure into the arrow, again onto the jungler though, and he's got a Warmog, so that's a big combo from Ultra Prime that doesn't really get to be followed up from.
Worth noting that Shiv doesn't slow. That's only the Hextech Dragon which does that one. So
just the Ash Auto.
Yeah, Ash Autos. Yeah. That one does very much hurt on that point. OMG looking to push in towards mid lane. They do have that satchel. I don't think they can wait until the Ziggs ult comes back up though. So Ultra Prime, they might just get themselves onto the dragon for free. They still have Hacker with that flash, Zhonya's and ultimate. They couldn't force it out of him because they killed him too quickly in that last one. Doggo in a What is Doggo doing?
Oh no, flashes over the wall. Thought he was safe because there was a control ward and he's about to fall down. The slow comes on through. Angel's still chasing him. Will go down. The Dragon secured by Ultra Prime as they didn't have their mid lane around to start fighting it. But now, maybe from the flank out, we start to come on in. Doesn't have the culling available as Harry will look to ultimate in onto someone. Hacker down to about 20% HP. They're being corralled. Oh, Ultra Prime. The Zigzag onto 3. Xingqian went looking for a big old ult. Hacker gets into the backline. Shoots ulti lullaby. Yokai will kill off the TF. Continue to try and jump away. The passive comes on through from the Sejuani, but it's cleansed away with that QSS. Ultra Prime claim 1 on the way out and do get the Dragon.
We had a conversation earlier. Doggo has most gold in the game from the early game. He needs to pay back on that investment. He just doesn't there. He gets caught out on a really dangerous path back towards his team, and he ends up getting caught out. He ends up losing a lot of damage for his team. Ultra Prime, I think, given that, fight back very well, even though they were kind of corralled. They get themselves the Dragon, and they stop the Dragon, the Baron power play being game-ending. It now brings the game back to even, and you still now have, you know, a Lilia in terms of damage up over the opponents, but I need to see more from Doggo. This cannot be the way that you use this early investment from your team. He has so much damage available to him, misses another arrow, sadly, for himself as well. And OMG, they have really picked apart the seams of this game with some good series of engages and punish on overextensions from Ultra Prime.
Satchel not quite in range to kill that tier 1. Baron doesn't get all that much though in terms of turrets as yet. Doggo is around with Hacker in this mid lane to try and keep this important structure alive.
Yeah, if they can keep that alive, it makes a big difference because it means that OMG can't look for their own aggressive engagements into your jungle. I think I really want to praise Tianjin as well. He's been really on point this game for finding the big engages onto people split apart, whether that's onto Hacker or whether it's onto Doggo there on the side as well. He's been a lot of the big go buttons. And Ultra Prime, they've not been respecting that. They've not been respecting that at all. And the problem is, they've disrespected it to the point where now they can't play from ahead. They have to play from even, and it means that their game has gotten even harder again, because you have to respect that even more. They're not in a position to wave play this again. That'll go down to the Zig Satchel beyond this point. OMG will finally claim that prize, and Ultra Prime will have to play from back within their own jungle again. And this is so sad to see. The early game has been good. They have had a lot of gold in the right places, but it has been a couple of key overextensions from Hacker and from Doggo, which have now put them back to even.
Yeah, honestly, for Doggo there, I'm assuming because of the control wards, he thought he was safe because he was off vision. He just really wasn't.
I'm sorry. If
it
you're
was perplexing as anything.
But the thing is, though, like, you can say, oh, there's a control ward there. I mean, there's always a TF fault. There's always the chance that you've walked over another ward going towards that control ward. You're taking the long path back to your team. And that is inherently going to put you in danger. That is not the path to take. And particularly as someone like the Ashe, which is very immobile compared to something like an Ezreal, a Lucian, or a Zeri or whatever, you cannot afford to do that. You need to be with another teammate pretty much at all times.
And that decision making, that pathing cost, it cost them earlier when they were contesting for vision, and OMG, credit to them, have found moments where they can pounce on those isolated or split targets and manage to bring themselves back into the game. Riftmaker just completed for Lily will make her a little bit more of a frontliner in a way that she struggled to be this game. Maybe that'll be a difference maker.
Yeah, and Xingqian also been, he forced out double flashes in that last fight, but he's also been struggling to have the team fight impact that he would like to. And because of the failures of the oversteps from his team, it means that he's now looking at Harry, who now has that individual matchup yet again in a huge advantage. They do have the 6 scrubs. If they do get themselves in cross mats, it will help them an awful lot. Yokai has been not poor this game. He's just been quite quiet. He's not necessarily been the person who's been winning or losing the game. Has the 6 grubs to be able to take this inner turret. More gold for him.
I think quiet might be one way, but he is 6-1 and 2, so he has picked up a lot of the kills. He's doing pretty well this game on that front.
That's fair.
The thing is, on the other side, it's interesting. He's only 300 gold ahead. I guess some of the shutdowns went the way of Angel more than anything else. Also, that local turret gold and bounties. So he's kept that mid lane matchup more even than the kills might suggest.
Yeah, and Yokai is making out like a Spanish warship, a ship of the line, and says, the way we win things is with more guns. He picks up a fire cannon. You know, there was like a big difference between all of like the great like European nations and the way that they viewed naval warfare. It's like Britain was like, yes, we'll have our best trained crews and great officer corps and blah blah blah. And then France like, we'll have the thickest hulls, which means that they can't reach our ammo stores. And then Spain comes along and says, gun, and just puts like 1,000,000 guns to the point where they'd weigh down one side of the ship with sand and mud, and they put all the cannons on the other side so they could just have more guns facing on the side.
That's fantastic.
That was just a thing. Anyway, fire cannon built by Corki. That's the end of that tirade. As we now see whether that will make a difference. 4 items on the Corki just before Angel reaches his. Dragon spawning in a minute. Baron already up.
do that. I was about to have a muse on Napoleon's unfortunate placement of guns in the River Nile.
Yeah.
But that'll have to wait till next game, guys. We can come back to that as everyone's alive, and that's a much more important conversation right now than age-old historical naval battles. Baron has been started. Angel's coming down from the top lane.
Yukai is pushing in the bot lane, has the 6 grubs. He'll need to teleport in, though. This is getting a little bit late. He needs to come in. The Baron's really helping.
The arrow landed on the story. It's huge. That means the Zig's got nowhere to go. Finally flashes out to safety, but it's burned out. There's now a massive stun onto the Sejuani. Smite down, Ziggs down.
MVP of that fight is not the Baron, it is the territorial Baron, because it pulls everyone in with its little grasping hands and puts Starry into the Swirl Seed, into the arrow. This is one of the few times you will see one of the specific flavors of Baron and its specific attacks determine potentially a game. How insane is that? The grasping hands bring Starry back, Ultra Prime get the fight, and they're back in the game. They have the Baron, they have the Dragon.
I mean, he got dragged back into an arrow. You really can't expect it. Poor old Starry. Like, what's he supposed to do?
There are 3 flavors of Baron. You have the hunting, the territorial, and the all-singing. This is the territorial, and it brings people back. A 4-man pull from the Baron. Look, folks, MVP of this game is that 4-man effective Darius Q from the Baron, which sets them up for the CC. They didn't learn the raid boss mechanics.
Oh, no, they did not. They missed the circles on the floor. I know Dawn Trail's come out recently. You'd think people have got enough practice in. But here we are, back into the real world and live. Xingtian is shoving with the rest of the team, about to get jumped on. Has the solar flare dropped on top of him. Huge combo, survives for a while, but not long enough. And this is the problem of splitting the team again.
Yeah, and I think that just Xingtian just ended up not using his flash very effectively. There is, of course, the Baron buff, and you have the 6 grubs. Trying to stop... Niket's trying to stop them from going towards the turret.
No, trying to stop that. Tianjin gets chunked. Angel gets a culling across, but it's into the door. So not that much value. They are a member down, but OMG now in danger of stepping too far forward. Brawn passive comes on through. Blooming Blow slows her there. Hacker stepped on forwards, got stunned there by a satchel into the wall, and will stay alive for now.
So, Ultra Prime, they lose one in the top lane. It's going to deny their Baron buff being game-ending or anything like that. Xingtian, he had a good start to the game. He's struggled as the game's gone on because OMG have focused on him when he's been a minion quite a lot. Now, you still don't have Tianjin's ultimate. Angel's used his as well. PPGod also doesn't have that solar flare. Xingtian could teleport in at some points. So Ultra Prime, they do have the advantage in terms of readily available combat spells. Yukai he has flash SW, he's just way too far away from his team again. Man.
Ultra Prime, what is going on? Tianjin has a flash and an ability for some teleports to come flying on through. They just can't play side lanes, apparently, Ultra Prime.
This team has just been splitting apart. They get themselves into the top lane in a turret, but they should have had someone protecting Yukai. He's been safe for so long. Now OMG have used a lot of their teleports. Xingtian could teleport to them as well. Someone needs to put down a wall though, and he needs to come here soon if they think a fight's gonna erupt. Solarflare is back up and available.
Potentially dangerous here. Get that slow teleport behind. We're trying to get to Mega now. That's why he was delaying. Comes in with Mega available, but it's solar flared. The wallop comes on through. There's the Mega Inferno bomb, but the Brawn passive comes on down and PPGod dies. Now Starry's in danger. Remember, still no flash. Needs to be afraid as the gold card with the rapid fire buys some space, but Starry dodge, dips, duck, doves, and dies. And he will fall in that top lane.
So OMG, they do a good job of splitting apart Ultra Prime. Really well played from Tianjin and PPGod and Harry to pick up people. But then they overchase towards the end, and the problem is when you overchase and you die towards 6 grubs and the remainder of that Baron buff, things fall apart beyond that point. Ultra Prime might just be looking for the end.
Angel and Harry here alone. They've got to try and get through this wave. They get hit with the Swirl Seed. There might be a lilting lullaby popping on him, and he is put to sleep. Tower number 1 falls in front of the Nexus. They turn back to a second inhibitor and will not end the game, but have done critical base damage.
Yeah, Ultra Prime, they've been sat in positions before. They've had open Nexuses and not been able to finish off the game. Shout out to that Anyone's Legend series in the group stage. For those of you it was Nexus to Nexus to Nexus to Nexus, 4 times back and forth. But it's Ultra Prime left to overcome that little monkey on their back. Hacker, really well played towards this last stage of the game as well. He had a rough early game before he had the Seekers and honestly getting picked off in the enemy jungle. Put this game into disarray as well. I still think that Hacker has been the MVP for Ultra Prime across the entirety of summer. He has been revolutionizing this team with his AP jungle play. And now he finds himself in the late game, doing damage, 9 Dark Seal stacks, coming up towards 4 items. He is so ready to blow some heads off really with the amount of damage which he's got going for him. Ultra Prime, they just got themselves a death cap on Hacker as well, so that's going to get even worse for OMG. And OMG, I think that their clapbacks in this game have been really good, but I think they have been just fighting off a terrible early game from them, because I really think that Hacker and Niket getting across the map and Qingtian winning out his individual lane have really just put Ultra Prime into such a good position where even with that mid-game throw, they had enough room to take a step back, to regather themselves, and then with a little bit of help from the Territorial Baron, get themselves back into the game.
Yeah. And I'm now looking at Doggo with a Terminus and a Bloodthirst. I'm looking at a Mortal Shield Bow and a Mercurial Scimitar on the Corki. It's getting increasingly hard to get those snap picks.
Doggo shouldn't be here again.
How is he there?
Why is he positioning like this? Angel got a little bit, he's going to be fine towards there. So they pull the TF out, they can't find anything. So Doggo, his dangerous pathing not really presenting much of an issue this time. OMG, they might just go for the engage.
They're only getting a chunk onto Hacker. Solar Flare afterwards with the Mega Inferno Bond. Hacker finally goes golden. Glacial Vision comes all down as Qingtian. Autos Angel down to nearly his entire HP bar. The Gnaw winning out against Lucian, who will cleanse and flash away. But Starry comes falling out of the skies, more like a meteor. Quadra kill to Doggo. Out of nowhere, they're hunting for a Penta. Do they want to wait on it? I think they might just want to win the game.
Well, the thing is, I think that Angel's got to get himself back to base. The tower's fallen. Ultra Prime, they have won the game, but will they get themselves the extra medallion? No, they will not. But OMG, the undefeated in-series team in Grip Nevada, slapped in the face by a resurging Ultra Prime in Game 1. You can just smell it in the air. Ultra Prime need to win this series. They might have just found themselves the route to victory with that Game 1.
It wasn't clean. It looked great for large portions, and then we hit the mid-game, and the Ultra Prime we know and view came back to play, and you see some of the flaws, right? The unusual pathing